People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
Good morning and welcome to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Heischman. Thank you for listening. First, I want to give you the number to call with your questions and concerns, because I get a lot of questions each week after I air the Safe Money and Retirement Show based on the topic as to what I discuss. So I want to make sure your questions and concerns are answered and addressed. The number is 888-426-0177. I'll give that number to you again, 888-426-0177. And before I get started, I want to relate a situation that applies to many retirees today. It is the longevity risk, outliving your income. A new client of mine who is a radio listener requested the book I offer, Top 10 IRA Mistakes, How to Avoid Tax Traps. And this book addresses employer retirement accounts, 401k, 403b, TSP plans that need to be rolled over into an individual IRA. This can be done while you're working or when you retire. When I say while you're working, there may be some restrictions, so we have to address those, how the plan was written, what your options are. So again, he requested the book, Top 10 IRA Mistakes, read the book, and called me to schedule a meeting. We talked about his goals and objectives, his current plan, which was a 401k, and of course, his risk tolerance. And as with many retirees, his biggest concern was longevity. Will he have enough money throughout retirement, 20, 25 years, 30 years into the future? He's taking early retirement. And of course, this adds to the longevity problem compared to normal retirement age or retiring at age 70. He's got more time in retirement. He's going to need more money and wants to be assured that income is going to be there. Those of you that are regular listeners, you've heard me talk about the guaranteed lifetime income benefit that can be attached to a retirement plan. After our meeting, we scheduled a second meeting where I prepared illustrations and ideas, designing a plan to solve his concerns, his objective by providing a lifetime income to where he would never run out of money. You might say it is his own private pension plan that he controls. So part of his 401k provided him, or I should say will provide him, around $3,500 per month. Now, this is lifetime guaranteed. And along with Social Security, he's going to receive right around 85% of his pre-retirement income. His withdrawal rate is lower than the projected potential rate of return. So we have income, growth, and a death benefit going to his spouse to continue the retirement plan for her. There was still money left over to be placed in a managed account, stocks, bonds, mutual funds for potential growth and another source of income later in retirement. Now, as a retirement planner, I think this is the perfect scenario. The majority of his money is totally free of risk, will have potential growth, and provide him that guaranteed lifetime income, and a smaller portion in risk accounts for more potential growth. But this is money he's not dependent on for income. It's there in case he needs it in the future, as I mentioned, but because it's in the market and we see some losses in the future, which typically that's going to happen, he doesn't have to worry because his income has been established and it's guaranteed. Needless to say, he has peace of mind, security going into his retirement, which should be the case for every retiree. I wanted to bring this situation to all of you because I'm sure there are a lot of you that are in that same situation, and you probably haven't been introduced to this retirement planning concept. So I can send you the book, Top 10 IRA Mistakes. Read the book. And if you want to contact me after you've read the book, feel free to do so. It's up to you. And it might just be the concept that you're looking for and need for peace of mind during retirement. 888-426-0177. 888-426-0177. That's the number to call 24/7. I will get the message and return your call. Retirement planning has to continue to the surviving spouse. Too many times, retirement planning is just focused on the retiree. But when and if the retiree passes away, has the retirement plan extended to the spouse so the income continues? Going back to the example I gave you earlier, my client's income can be continued to his spouse in the event of his death with Social Security planning and structuring his retirement accounts so it continues to her. His wife, she's going to benefit from the same lifetime income that he will and continue to have the same worry-free, secure retirement. Other situations where there may be an income gap, life insurance death benefits can be used to generate additional income to fill that gap, keeping the income the same or close to what the retiree was receiving. So when I do retirement planning and there is a spouse involved, that plan has to continue to the surviving spouse. Very important. think about that and look at your plan to make sure it's structured to continue. I think especially in a situation where retirees are dependent on both Social Security income and, of course, as you know, in the event of death, the highest benefit can be received by the surviving spouse, but the lower amount is gone. We have to plan to replace that again if they're dependent on both Social Security incomes. It's not difficult. It's a matter of knowing and planning, covering all bases for that income plan to continue. And really, isn't that what it's all about? Is knowing you're going to have guaranteed income coming in the future, regardless of the situation, regardless of any surprise or what we end up facing in the future. Let me know if I can help. We can schedule a meeting or a telephone conversation just to answer questions and concerns. 888-426-0177. That's the number. And don't forget to visit my website, HeischmanFS.com, and that is spelled HeischmanFS.com. After the break, I'll continue with more ideas for you, so stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. For more information, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. More of the Safe Money and Retirement Show in a moment. All right, your retirement funds, I need you to get with the program and work even harder for me. Give me all you got. That's it. I'm going to need more from you than that if I'm ever going to retire. Is your retirement plan not going as planned? Contact Heischman Financial Services at 1-888-426-0177 to get it back on track and working harder for your future. At Heischman Financial Services, they understand that individuals and couples have their own unique circumstances that need to be considered in order to achieve a safe and successful retirement plan. Heischman Financial Services offers a no-cost, no-obligation discussion of your circumstances and plans. Call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177 for Heischman Financial Services, or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. That's www.HeischmanFS.com. Get your retirement funds working harder for you with Heischman Financial Services, 1-888-426-0177. Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
Welcome back to the second part of the Safe Money and Retirement Show. This morning, I'm your host, Jon Heischman. Speaking of 401k plans, for example, other retirement plans, and today including pension plans, it's not uncommon for owners of these accounts, and as I mentioned, other qualified accounts, to choose to move their accounts to a new financial institution. There are a number of reasons why you make that decision. Older account owners may be concerned about risk and decide to move their accounts to a safer place, as my client did that I talked about in the first segment of my show. And when we're talking about preservation, keeping your money because it's going to generate retirement income, this can be a very logical decision when there's concern about a market correction that could happen in the future, like we witnessed in 2008 and 2009. Your current custodian may not be offering a competitive interest rate, while the new custodian may be offering a higher rate of return or the potential for a higher rate of return. A good example, your current bank is paying you interest rates of 1 to 2%, and another institution may be offering you 3 to 4%. Or maybe your current financial institution is showing some signs of struggling. I may call it insolvency, and you're concerned about losing your money. Maybe you want to turn your account into that guaranteed lifetime income stream that I talk about, but your current custodian doesn't offer that option. Now, when I say custodian, I'm referring to the company that is holding your money. Here's another situation. You may be tired of paying Wall Street's fees and think it's time to switch to a no-fee account. There could be many other reasons, or it could be a combination of reasons prompting you to make a change or considering making a change. When you move a retirement account to a new institution, it's called a rollover. If you're retired, you know what a rollover is because you probably have already done it, or you should have. But here's where it gets tricky, and making the wrong rollover decision can be costly and especially irrevocable. So this may pertain to those of you that are getting ready to retire. You need advice, you need direction, because there's two methods of making a rollover from one company to another. The first is what we call an indirect rollover. An indirect rollover is when you transfer money from one retirement trustee to another. Your 401k is managed by a trustee. You make that rollover to an IRA account, your individual retirement account that is managed by another trustee. Indirect rollovers are sent to you personally, and you place that money into an individual retirement account. But you have to keep in mind, under the IRS rules, it's permissible to do this. You can, as long as you complete the transfer within 60 days from beginning to end. So if your current financial institution issues you a check, let's say on April 1st, you're going to have to complete the transfer of the funds into this new IRA account no later than May 30th, 60 days. I do not recommend doing this because more than likely you're going to hear from the IRS as far as verification where this money went and was it deposited into the new IRA within the 60 days. Those situations have happened, but as I mentioned, I don't like it. And even though we can show that this has been done, I just don't want you to have to communicate with the IRS if at all possible. What if you miss the 60-day window? The funds will become taxable, and you may have to pay an additional 10% penalty if you're under age 59 and a half. Now, beginning in 2015, you're allowed only one indirect rollover within a 365-day period. And this is where it's easy to make a costly and irrevocable tax mistake. Avoid this option at all costs, in my opinion, because the simple way is to do a direct rollover. A direct rollover, it's much easier. It's a safer way to move your retirement accounts to that new financial institution. A direct rollover, it means that the funds are sent directly from your current financial institution to the new financial institution of your choosing into the account that matches your risk tolerance. Direct rollover, you don't receive a check, so you don't need to worry about that 60-day rule, and any possible taxes are avoided on a direct rollover. Even better, you can do as many direct rollovers as you want, which could be classified as a partial rollover instead of a full rollover. A direct rollover, there is no 1-year rule, and your new financial institution is going to send your signed transfer forms to the current financial institution, and it's all on autopilot from there. There's nothing else for you to do at this point. I think it's critical to know your rollover options. Where do you want that money to go? What type of an account or accounts is that money to be rolled over to? Going back to my example of my new client that I talked about in the first part of the show this morning, his rollover went into 2 different accounts. One had no risk and generated the guaranteed lifetime income. The second account went into a managed money account, what we call assets under management. No taxes, no work on his part, because I took care of the rollovers, completed the rollover forms, as well as the needed forms for each new account, which became IRAs. And in this particular situation, there are now 2 IRAs. There's also the option to generate income from that 401k account. It's typically listed on the forms that are used for the rollover. This gets tricky as well because we have to look at how much income can be generated compared to how much income you can receive from doing a rollover to an IRA account. I think it's important to review both options. Which one is going to provide more income, and if death would occur and the income stops, is your beneficiary going to receive the balance of the money that's in your account? Preferably, I want the balance of the money that's in the account to be available for the beneficiary. If you have a pension plan on and above a 401k, the options that pension plans offer really need to be reviewed. Once you make that decision, it's irrevocable. So we prevent mistakes that we have to pay for later on in retirement. And very simply, have a planner review those options with you so you fully understand and know what is in your best interest both now and in the future. If you don't have a planner that can help you with that and you need advice, let me know. I don't charge a fee and there's no obligation when helping you to make the right decision. 888-426-0177. That's the number to call. Once again, 888-426-0177. I'm out of time for this morning's show. I wish I had a lot more time because there's a lot more to discuss with you. So tune in next week to the Safe Money and Retirement Show, and I'll continue my discussions on retirement planning. Thanks for joining me. This is Jon Heischman. Have a safe week. And again, please tune in next week.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.